I've only put 8,000 miles on it in 5 years, 6 years that I've owned it.
So you're first your dad.
First, a doctor down in Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi,
Yep.
okay.
She bought it, I believe she bought it in Michigan,
Okay.
went down to Mississippi, Alabama.
Okay.
And then my dad bought it.
Yeah.
She moved back to Michigan in November, and we got 18 inches of snow, and she traded it in that day.
All right.
For a 911 all-wheel drive 911, right?
Yeah.
And my dad was going by, he'd been looking for one. He was going by the dealership, and it was just parked out front. She had just traded it in.
Okay.
And so
it's cool that you know the history.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well, this, like I said, the car's been in the family now for 16 years.
A couple months ago, when we first decided to embark on this journey, we weren't sure which Porsche to buy. And I'd always lusted after and wanted the 928. Not because I didn't want a 911, I just didn't think a 911 was affordable. And 928s, well, they were in our price range, which was way under $20,000. So I went to Craigslist, I started poking around, and I found a Guards Red 928. So here's where I'm at. I like this car a lot, but at 100 and, let's see exactly, I don't have the key, 168,000 miles, you know, it's one major repair from being upside down, or for me being upside down in the car, for TFL being upside down in the car, because that's a lot of miles. They had little flashlights right there built into the key, so at night you could actually see where you're sticking it, and it still works. That's incredible. They say don't meet your idol in person, and that's what happened to me with the 928. Now don't get me wrong, it's a true 80s supercar, but an 80s supercar comes with 80s electronics and of course 80s issues. So right here is where the door opens. Why don't you open the door? I don't want to do it. I'll let you do it.
It's fine.
Yeah, so that's kind of, right there is where it hits a little bit. That could be the door, it could be the panel, hard to say.
So one of the things we'll like to check for on a car like this is we want to check in the media to see if we're seeing any engine flakes, any metallic or plastic. There are all sorts of things that can come apart in an engine as it gets older. And in this particular case, it looks great. This is nice clean oil. We'll put a new filter in and move on.
So Adam, if you were to start the engine now without an oil in it, how long would it run, you think, before it would?
I bet you get 90 seconds out of it.
Yeah? You think you get 90 seconds?
Yeah. We've heard tale.
Okay, all right.
You know, if it was a fresh built motor, you're not getting any time at all. The damage would be instantaneous. This one's worn in, but it's also got a lot of residual oil in it.
Yeah.
The manual says for this car that it takes about 8.25 liters or 8.5 liters of oil. If you were to do a fresh build, you'd probably get something closer to 9 in.
If I were serious about buying it, I'd of course want to take it for a drive, but like I said, I don't want to insult the guy by offering him $9,000 or $10,000. That's just not the way we do business at TFL. So I'm not even going to take it for a ride. Plus he's got 2 little kids, and I don't want to leave him stranded by the side of the road while I take his Porsche for a test drive. Now seeing that 928 drive away was very sad because I'd always dreamed of owning one. There's always a door that opens when one closes. And the door that opened was the fact that you can actually buy an affordable 911, and there's only one model of 911 that you can buy, and that is a 996. What was about this car that made you buy it?
Yeah, so it took me months. So, you know, the reason I bought this is probably similar to why you're doing your story.
Yeah.
I saw in the back of some car magazine that you could pick up a 996 for this price range.
Yep.
And I didn't think you could buy a 911 for that. So I started looking, eBay, Auto Trader. I was willing to fly somewhere and drive a car home. And then I eventually found this one in Denver on Craigslist. And I have the stock wheels that
Okay.
come with it.
All right.
I was actually going to try to put studded snows on those and try to drive it all year.
It should be pretty good. I mean, with that weight over the back wheels.
In theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is different too, right? The clear.
No, that's
Oh.
all. I had them tinted,
Yeah.
and I took the tint off.
Okay.
What I did change, these are amber.
Okay.
I have the amber ones. They literally pop in and out.
Okay.
So you could
it's
change
real
that.
easy. It's real easy to do. Have you had any problems with it?
I've had zero problems with it.
Really? So it's been really reliable.
Super reliable. I mean, it's a great daily driver too. Whereas my 1980, you know, you kind of have to hook it up to a battery tender if you're not going to drive it for a couple days.
What'd you go for 19? How long would you get the 1980?
God, it's been about 3 months now.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just something about the air cooled. It's a different.
Yeah.
This car is faster, handles better, stops better.
Yeah.
But there's something about the other car that makes me want to drive it more.
Yeah, you know, those, especially those 80s ones, are in a bubble right now. Did you pay a lot of money for it? I mean,
Paid significantly more
I would
than
think
I paid for
this. Yeah, I would think so.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah. My buddy had one, and he kind of rused the day that he sold it. He wished he had held on to it.
I hope I don't feel the same way about this, but I have 4 cars right now, and I live in a condo.
Okay.
So I rent all my neighbors' garages,
Gee.
and it's just a problem.
What are the other two? So you got this one, you got the SC.
Yep, then I have a 1975 BMW 2002.
Nice. What a great car.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was
You
my
were-
first car.
Yeah?
So I have big plans for that. And then I have a 2001 S4 Avant
Nice.
sort of the daily driver.
Yeah. So how's the paint? Does it look pretty good for the
Paint's
most part?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not
you know,
bad.
it has its spots.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody like theirs.
yeah,
with it.
there.
Yeah. There's some issues with it.
There's a few nicks.
That's got
Honestly,
93,000, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to have issues.
The slight paint issues made me feel more comfortable driving it.
The other thing we would really encourage people to do is change your oil every year. And the oil doesn't get changed at the beginning of the season, it gets changed at the end of the season. There's a lot of corrosive, yeah, you get a lot of blow-by on the piston rings, and that stuff is corrosive. It'll sit and eat at the engine over the wintertime. This neck, however, gets brittle over the years, so you want to be gentle with it. You can get cracking down in here where it's ribbed, and once it is, it's not so easy to replace. It's actually quite a pain.
But I love how they engineered it so you can just get right at it.
Yeah, it's really a reasonable way to do it.
It does feel a little bit 90s though.
Yeah, the interior design, that's the other thing about my 80, you know, everything. The classic interiors feel real nice.
Yeah, and the other thing I love about Porsches is, you know, I'm a big guy and I fit in them.
Yeah.
Germans build cars for big people. Because, you know, the problem with Porsches, as I'm sure you know, is you can get upside down in them really easily, right?
Yeah.
You know that. I mean, the problem is that they're expensive to fix. How about the rear main seal? I know that's a big problem with these
So the
cars.
rear main seal and the IMS bearing.
Yeah, those are the two.
So this is a 99. The
Yep.
99 is the first year of the 996.
Yep.
It actually has a different IMS bearing design.
Okay,
So it's less prone to failure.
all right,
Typically when they fail early, like 20,000 miles.
okay.
So if they make it beyond like 50,000, they haven't failed, most people don't think they're gonna fail. So you have your amp here, and you have your CD changer.
Oh my god, old school CD changer.
So what I did is, you can pop the head unit, and I just replaced the aux in with the CD changer. Well, that's the thing. The air-cooled people are not interested in any water-cooled Porsches. And then the whole headlight situation, some people can't get over.
Yeah. Like I say, it's hard to tell them from a Boxster.
Yeah.
And of course, Boxsters are, you know, especially this generation, are pretty dime a dozen right now.
We use a Motul product. It is an interchangeable product with the Mobile One. It's more universally accepted. There's some other makes and models that we can put the Motul in that doesn't like the Mobile One. It's really it's a good product. So these cars have an electronic readout on
Yeah, I
the
saw that
dash.
when you started off. It tells you exactly how much oil is in.
Yeah, it's really a nice way to check the car when you get in and out of it, so that you don't have to climb out in the cold. But
But they also have a dipstick.
If you really want to know, there's nothing like a physical dipstick.
Certified check, 16,000 as we agreed. I hope I spelled your name right.
You did?
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
You're welcome. Here you go. And then the title. Are you sad to see it go, or are you happy to free up some garage space?
You know, both.
Both, yeah.
If I had more space, I would love to keep it.
Wow, come here, check this out. You gotta show them this.
It's a little dirty, but
Wow, look at that.
that was the first step.
Did you do this carved yourself?
I had a local guy help me out.
That looks beautiful. Look at that. Does it give you more power? It must. Because these things are pretty, well, I wouldn't say anemic, but they were, balanced. Let's be kind.
Yeah. It was a tiny little top-mounted carb.
It still drives like a 911. I've been in a few of them, and there's just something very honest mechanically about this. It took Porsche a long time over the years to actually figure it out, to get it just right. And by the 996, we're really getting into the modern Porsche 911s. So I've got a 1968 Ford Bronco half cab.
Awesome.
That I put on Craigslist on Wednesday, and I've got somebody come to look at it at 3 o'clock today. So hopefully the money from the half cab will go to you, and we'll get the Porsche. So, it's funny how the world just keeps turning that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now luckily there is no break-in period with the car with 93,000 miles on it, so hopefully at this point I can let the 911 stretch its legs a little bit. Oh yeah, there's the power. Yeah, right about 3.5, 4,000 RPM is when the power comes in. Oh, this gear shift, I wouldn't call it tight, but I would call it precise. The throws are a little long, but in a very kind of gratifying way.
The synthetic oil stands up a lot better to the heat. It doesn't break down as rapidly. It's just the modern evolution of how it works. So when we're done filling it, we're going to short fill the engine just a little bit.
Okay.
Run it in, bring it up to temp, make sure it's right, and then we'll top it up the rest of the way.
So, one comes in, one goes out. Okay, thank you very much.
Let me check the odometer.
Yeah, thanks. Guess what? TFL has a new project. 996 with, now we know, a 3.4 liter that puts out just under 300 horsepower. But for the most part, I am as tickled as I can be behind the wheel of this car. I love the fact that it's black on black. It's just so sinister looking. I just zeroed out the odometer, and next miles are all TFLs. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fastlane Car. Thanks for watching, guys, and thank you for allowing us to get fun cars like this and make videos, and hopefully give you guys a little bit of insight, not just into the Porsche world, but a little bit of fun as well, because I sincerely believe that if we have fun making these videos, and if we get fun cars, you guys have fun watching them. So thank you, and remember, check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, real world reviews. Ciao.
Alright, so here's the old bearing that came out. You can see that it's a sealed bearing. Both sides are closed off. Where in the new bearing, there is no seal, so that's what we mean when we say it's a free flow bearing. On the outside, of course, it does have a seal, and over here, that way the crankcase oil can freely lubricate the ball bearings in here. This thing was quite a steal.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about, well, we put together a list, the 5 bargain basement Porsches, if you can call a Porsche a bargain basement. Or if you're looking at investing in a Porsche, these are the 5 cars that we would invest in.
Yeah.
So some of them are for fun, and some of them are for investment, right?
Yeah, they're all cars that any guy who loves Porsches, or any car really.
Yeah. So let's start with number 5, as always, the 997. So why don't you tell me about the 997, first of all? It's obviously the last generation of 911.
It's what we might call the first generation of used 911, right?
Exactly.
It's the one that's out of production. It's